Krishna, somebody can please lead the invocation prayers.
Can I, Prabhuji?
Yeah, go ahead.
ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मायं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुतान्वितं तां सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधाकान्ता नमोऽस्तु ते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुतदेवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। पञ्चकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्दा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
Hare Krishna, thank you all for coming. So today we will cover Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 4, and then I will also answer inquiries submitted by you all devotees. So the context or the recap of where we are is that Pariksit Maharaj asked questions. What is duty of a dying person and duty in general for all? In response, Sukadeva Goswami established devotional service as the best process. Having heard Krishna Katha so far, sages of Naimisharanya are interested to know more about the discussions between Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadeva Goswami, because they both are devotees, and among devotees, the only conversation is about Krishna Katha. Sages said that Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadeva Goswami are absorbed in transcendental knowledge. Hence, there must have been some more discussion about Krishna, because both Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadeva Goswami are devotees. So this is how chapter 3 ended, that sages of Naimisharanya expressed their earnest desire to hear more about Krishna. Chapter 4 is titled The Process of Creation, divided into two parts. Part 1 is verses 1 to 11, titled Parikshit Maharaj's mind firmly fixed on Krishna, and Parikshit Maharaj inquires about creation. Part 2, verses 12 to 25, Mangalacharan prayers by Sukadeva Goswami. So upon Parikshit Maharaj's inquiry about creation, Sukadeva Goswami will repeat the conversation between Sri Narad Muni and Brahmaji, because Sri Narad Muni already asked the same question. So he says, I'm just going to repeat the previous conversation rather than creating something new. Here in this chapter 4, the first 4 verses, Suta Goswami will describe how Pariksit Maharaj is firmly fixed in his mind on Krishna. Divya will read chapter 4, verse number 1, translation, and the purport, paragraph number 2, which starts to become a pure devotee.
Hare Krishna. Text 1, translation. Suta Goswami said, Maharaja Pariksit, the son of Uttara, after hearing the speeches of Sukadeva Goswami, which were all about the truth of the self, applied his concentration faithfully upon Lord Krishna. Purport. To become a pure devotee of Lord Krishna, two things are very much essential. Namely, having a chance to be born in the family of a devotee and having the blessings of a bona fide spiritual master. By the grace of Lord Krishna, Parikshit Maharaja had both opportunities. He was born in a family of such devotees as the Pandavas, and just to continue the dynasty of the Pandavas and show them special favor, the Lord specifically saved Maharaja Parikshit, who later on, by the arrangement of the Lord, was cursed by the boy of a Brahmana and was able to get the association of such a spiritual master as Sukadeva Goswami. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said that a fortunate person, by the mercy of the spiritual master and Lord Krishna, achieves the path of devotional service. This was perfectly applicable in the case of Maharaja Parikshit. By way of being born in a family of devotees, he automatically came in touch with Krishna. And after being so contacted, he constantly remembered him. Consequently, Lord Krishna gave the king a further chance for development in devotional service by introducing him to Shukadeva Goswami, a stalwart devotee of the Lord with perfect knowledge and self-realization. And by hearing from a bona fide spiritual master, he was perfectly able to concentrate his chaste mind further upon Lord Krishna as a matter of course.
So Parikshit Maharaj was such a great soul. From childhood, he is devoted to Krishna. Nitya, verse 2, translation and full purport.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Maharaj Parikshit, as a result of his wholehearted attraction for Lord Krishna, was able to give up all the deep-rooted affections of his personal body, wife, his children, his palace, his animals like horses and elephants, his treasury house, his friends, relatives, and his undisputed kingdom. Purport. To become liberated means to become free from the Dehamma Buddhi, the illusory attachment for the personal bodily coverings and everything connected with the body, namely wife, children, and all other entanglements. One selects a wife for bodily comforts, and the result is children. For wife and children, one requires a dwelling place, and as such, a residential house is also necessary. Animals like horses, elephants, cows, and dogs are all household animals, and a householder has to keep them as a household paraphernalia. In modern civilization, the horses and elephants have been replaced by cars and conveyances with considerable horsepower. To maintain all the household affairs, one has to increase the bank balance and to be careful about the treasury house. And in order to display the opulence of material assets, one has to keep good relations with friends and relatives, as well as become very careful about maintaining the status quo. This is called material civilization of material attachment. Devotion for Lord Krishna means negation of all material attachments as detailed above. By the grace of Lord Krishna, Maharaj Parikshit was awarded all material amenities and an undisputed kingdom in which to enjoy the undisturbed position of the king. But by the grace of the Lord, he was able to give up all connections with material attachments. That is the position of a pure devotee. Maharaj Parikshit, due to his natural affection for Lord Krishna as a devotee of the Lord, was always executing his royal duties on behalf of the Lord. And as a responsible king of the world, he was always careful to see the influence of Kali would not enter his kingdom. A devotee of the Lord never thinks of his household paraphernalia as his own, but surrenders everything for the service of the Lord. Thereby, living entities under a devotee's care get the opportunity for God realization by the management of a devotee master. Attachment for household paraphernalia and for Lord Krishna go poorly together. One attachment is the path of darkness, and the other attachment is the path of light. Where there is light, there is no darkness. Where there is darkness, there is no light. But an expert devotee can turn everything to the path of light by an attitude of service to the Lord. And the best example here is the Pandavas. Maharaj Yudhishthira and the householders like him can turn everything to light by obtaining so-called material assets in the service of the Lord. But one who is not trained or is unable to turn everything to the service of the Lord, Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhi, must give up all material connections before he can be fit to hear and chant the glories of the Lord. Or in other words, one who has seriously heard Srimad Bhagavatam from, or even one day, like Maharaj Pariksit, from a fit personality like Shukdev Goswami, may be able to lose all affinity for material things. There is no utility simply in imitating Maharaj Pariksit and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from professional men even for 700 years. To take Srimad Bhagavatam as a means of maintaining family expenditure is the grossest type of nama aparadha offense at the feet of the Lord. Sarva Subhat Kriya Samyam Api Pramada.
Very important purport, lot of important points in the purport. Read again later by yourself. So, by mercy of Krishna and spiritual master, Parikshit Maharaj gave up all these deep-rooted attachments, attachment to materiality and attachment to Krishna go poorly together. Prabhupada says very clearly, the second purport, very first line, says attachment to materiality, whatever it be, household, paraphernalia, family, and attachment to Krishna, they go poorly together. So Prabhupada also explained that how Parikshit Maharaj was able to give up all these material attachments because of his wholehearted attraction to Lord Krishna. Parikshit Maharaj was able to give up all these deep-rooted affection for his personal body, wife, children, palace, animals, treasury, friends, relatives, kingdom, everything. As the devotee of Lord, Parikshit Maharaj was executing his royal duties on behalf of the Lord. Devotee never thinks of his household paraphernalia as his own. Rather, he surrenders everything in service of the Lord. Because attachment for household paraphernalia is path of darkness, and attachment for the Lord is path of light. These two attachments, they are 360-degree apart. They go poorly together. But an expert devotee can turn everything to the path of light by service attitude for the Lord. One who has heard Srimad Bhagavatam even for a day from a fit personality like Sukdev Goswami, who is spiritual master of Parikshit Maharaj, then one may be able to lose affinity for material things, exactly how Parikshit Maharaj heard Bhagavatam from his spiritual master Sukdev Goswami. He was able to give up everything. So regulated activities of religion, economic development, sense gratification, which are prescribed in Vedas, they are karma kandiya conception of life and are generally attractive for materialistic people. By being constantly wrapped in thought of Krishna, plus by the slight association of Sukadeva Goswami, Parikshit Maharaj was able to renounce all sorts of fruitive activities, such as religion, economic development, sense gratification, and thus fix himself firmly in his natural love for Krishna. So, very important purport. This point is also going to be a spiritual endeavor for today. So, read this purport again. Any questions, comments, realizations? Something practical you plan to apply from here? Nobody plans to apply anything?
Yes, slowly we have to apply.
Okay. Anybody at least realize the level of attachments that we all have?
Yes, Prabhu, and always trying to disentangle little by little. It's a process in the making, but it's trying to disentangle. Definitely see how much attachment, and that leads to so many other things. So, yeah.
All right, very good. Gauri will read verse 3 and 4 translation are straightforward verses.
Verse 3 and 4. O great sages, the great soul Maharaj Pariksit, constantly wrapped in thought of Krishna, Lord Krishna, knowing well of his imminent death, renounced all sorts of fruitive activities, namely acts of religion, economic development, and sense gratification, and thus fixed himself firmly in his natural love for Krishna and asked all these questions exactly as you are asking me. Purport: the three
That's it.
activities of religion.
Hold on. So, Parikshit Maharaj was in rapt thoughts of Krishna. Sutta Goswami is saying to the sages that just as the sages are asking questions, the same questions were asked by Parikshit Maharaj. Now, Parikshit Maharaj is going to ask questions. Have undivided attention because I'm going to ask you a question on what Parikshit Maharaj is going to ask. Chandran Prabhu, verse 5, 6, and 7 translation.
Translation 5. Maharaja Parikshit said, O learned Brahmana, you know everything because you are without material contamination. Therefore, whatever you have spoken to me appears perfectly right. Your speeches are gradually destroying the darkness of my ignorance, for you are narrating the topics of the Lord. Text 6. I beg to know from you how the personality of God, by his personal energies, creates these phenomenal universes as they are, which are inconceivable even to the great demigods. Hare Krishna.
7 also.
Seven also, Prabhuji?
Yeah.
7. Kindly describe how the Supreme Lord, who is all-powerful, engages his different energies and different expansions in maintaining and again winding up the phenomenal world in the sporting spirit of the play. Text 8.
Hold
O
on.
learned Brahma. Sorry.
So Parikshit Maharaj is saying that as Sukadeva Goswami is speaking, his ignorance is getting destroyed. And Parikshit Maharaj inquires about creation, that how the Lord creates maintains and highlights these phenomenal universes. So here's a mandatory question for all of you that all of you please try to answer. So step into Pariksit Maharaj's shoes that he has been cursed. He knows that he has 7 days to live before his imminent death. We also know that hearing the pastimes of the Lord described in Canto 10 of Srimad Bhagavatam are very relishable for all devotees, and devotees generally want to remember and focus on those Krishna's pastimes in Canto 10. So the question is, why is Pariksit Maharaj inquiring about creation when we already know that Canto 10 is all about Krishna's pastimes and they are very relishable, by which it is easy to focus mind on Krishna? Plus, we will soon read in the purport that Pariksit Maharaj already knows about creation. Therefore, my question to all of you, that why is Pariksit Maharaj inquiring about creation instead of Krishna's pastimes described in Canto 10? Everybody, please answer. Shivangi.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I might have heard this before from the other class, but
You can hold on, Shivangi.
Okay.
Rest of you. Everybody, please answer. Does this make sense? Anybody wants to know the answer? Abhishek Prabhu wants to know. Silence. I got real silence. Does the question make sense?
Unaware, Prabhuji, we would like to know it.
Rest of you said everybody please answer or comment.
I think he's asking for the benefit of everyone else.
Yeah, step in Pariksit Maharaj's shoes. You are correct that about benefit, but he has 7 days. And he already knows about creation. He also knows that Krishna's pastimes in Canto 10 are easy to focus mind on Krishna. And why would he ask about creation? Rest of you who have not answered.
Because he was eager to hear more and more from Sukadev Goswami.
Yeah, you are correct. So he could have expanded Canto 10 to be the largest part of Srimad Bhagavatam. Why is he asking about creation and not Krishna's pastime? Shivangi, you can go ahead. Divya first.
Prabhuji, I'm guessing, and I think he's doing this because for someone who doesn't know anything about the Lord, I think we should first know like the true extent of the Lord's greatness, like who he really is. And then when we go to his pastimes, to understand for such a great personality, like how he interacts with his devotees, then it will be even more impactful, I think.
Very good. Nitya first.
Prabhu, I think he wants to understand God's glory and it's for the benefit of everybody from the beginning. So, how inconceivable his energy is, that's what he wants to let us know. And also to maybe gradually step us up to the understanding of the Leelas of God. Not that we go straight to understand, we wouldn't be able to. Two is, I think the focus is on receiving information in disciplic succession. So yes, he may have received and must have received Vedic knowledge from his acharyas and teachers, but I think the emphasis is he wants to receive it because, as you know, it went from it went from Brahmaji to Narada Muni to Vyasa to Sukdev Goswami. So I think the focus is he wants to hear it exactly as spoken by God.
Okay, very good. Shivangi?
Prabhuji, I think the others had answered it. It's also, from what I remember from the previous discussion, it's to show that this creation Leela is as important to study and learn as his more intimate pastimes in the 10th canto. That's what I remember. But that's
Very
why
good.
we
Yeah,
should be hearing.
very good. Very good. So, some people, they jump directly to Canto 10. But Pariksit Maharaj is already a great devotee. Pariksit Maharaj does not need to know about this creation of universes because he already knows. Plus, Pariksit Maharaj only has 7 days to live. So why is he asking about creation? So as Shivangi said, some of you already answered correctly, and Shivangi also pointed out the correct point that the answer is, without understanding the greatness of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, people treat Krishna as ordinary person. They treat Krishna as God just theoretically. Therefore, one should first know the greatness of the Lord, then the pastimes described in Canto 10 will become relishable. Creation is also a pastime of the Lord. And this pastime is inconceivable and is also relishable. As we'll discuss this creation points from this point on, it continues in up to some part towards the start of Canto 3. You will realize how much effort Krishna has put in creating this creation just for the simple desire that we all souls have to enjoy. Creation is very wonderful and inconceivable activity of the Lord. And learned scholars have insufficient information about this. So why Pariksit Maharaj asked question about creation is to set an example for future readers and hearers that this is the process of reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, that you have to start from the beginning and go canto by canto, and within canto go chapter by chapter by chapter, so that one can perfect their life by learning what you can apply from each chapter, what you can apply in your personal life from each chapter, so that you can transform yourself. Just as we all are also studying scriptures in an orderly fashion. And this is how one gets mercy of Krishna. And this is for future readers and followers to follow the process. So this is very important point to understand as well as to explain to others that don't just jump, go in a systematic order exactly what we have done. That first study Bhagavad Gita, nectar of instruction, nectar of devotion, Ch4, have a solid base. Then Bhagavatam goes step by step from the start. Learn from each chapter what you can apply. As well as apply, don't just put a tick mark that I studied Bhagavatam. In this way, when you study the first 9 cantos, then you will have appreciation for Krishna's pastime described in Canto 10. We already read in the previous purport, and Prabhupada also emphasizes that you have to hear Srimad Bhagavatam from bona fide sources in disciplic succession, not from professional reciters. Then we also read, Prabhupada said that if somebody is using this Bhagavatam study for his earning his livelihood, that is the grossest kind of ignorance and grossest of offenses. Questions, comments, realizations before we read the purport?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Mhm.
From what I understand from your answer, is it so that Pariksit Maharaj wants to set an example for others that he asked this question and like set the path what is to be done?
That's absolutely correct that Pariksit Maharaj is setting an example for others of how to read Srimad Bhagavatam. That first understand the first 9 cantos, then you will understand the greatness of the Lord. And only after this you'll be able to understand and relish the pastimes described in Canto 10, exactly what Divya was also explaining. Abhishek Prabhu?
So my question is that um, if this was not the case, that Parikshit Maharaj has to set this example, or like for ourselves also, like if we have been through the first 9 cantos, or a general person, devotee has been, then is it more like, is it more relevant to focus specifically on the 10th canto and pastimes of the Lord and not the other pastimes?
All pastimes are equal. Creation is also a pastime of the Lord. Kurukshetra war is also a pastime of the Lord. Ras Leela is also a pastime of the Lord. All are identical. So our purpose of studying Bhagavatam is to be able to remember Krishna and associate with Krishna at the moment of death. So yes, if you are at the moment of death, you will recall throughout your Bhagavatam study that few pastimes are very, very much relishable for you. I will tell you for myself, Canto 1, Chapter 9, the Bhishmadev pastimes, the prayers of Bhishmadev while lying on the bed of arrows, they are very beautiful pastime, very beautiful prayers. I can just remember those prayers. They are identical to remembering Krishna's prayers or the pastimes in Canto 10. So you have to understand that throughout your life, you continue to study your entire Srimad Bhagavatam. And as you are studying Srimad Bhagavatam, narrow down what all you want to remember or what all strikes you or you is very much relishable. so that towards the end of your life, you focus on those components, not just Canto 10. There would be many pastimes throughout Srimad Bhagavatam, which you will remember and relish much more. Abhishek Prabhu.
Thank you for this practical insight, Prabhuji.
Yeah, very good. Rest of you.
Prabhu, just want to share a realization, practical realization. I think also so important to just keep doing this all our lives, so Lord Krishna will remember it as our service at the end. Because we see so many elderly people have senile dementia, and they completely lose their identity. It's sad to see that, and I think it's good for us to, as you have told us many times, just to keep doing our service, so Lord Krishna remembers us.
Yeah, very good, correct point. Very important point, Nitya, is that people have dementia. Or even if you don't have dementia, as body progresses, it loses its capacity. Memory loss is there, whether or not you have some diseases. So if you continue to chant, to read Bhagavatam throughout your life, then Krishna will remember you at the moment of death. Very good. Rest of you. Shivangi will read verse number 5, purport.
Text number 5, purport. The practical experience of Maharaja Pariksit is disclosed herein, revealing that transcendental topics of the Lord act like injections when received by the sincere devotee from a person who is perfectly uncontaminated by material tinges. In other words, the reception of the messages of Srimad Bhagavatam from professional men heard by a Karma Kandiya audience never acts miraculously as stated here. Devotional hearing of the messages of the Lord is not like hearing ordinary topics. Therefore, the action will be felt by the sincere hearer by experience of the gradual disappearance of ignorance. Yasya deve para bhaktir yata deve tata gurau tasya te katita e attaha prakashante mahatmanah. When a hungry man is given food to eat, he feels the satiation of hunger and the pleasure of dining simultaneously. Thus, he does not have to ask whether he has actually been fed or not. The crucial test of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam is that one should get positive enlightenment by such an act. Hare Krishna.
Right, Prabhupada again emphasizes practical experience, that do not hear Bhagavatam from professional men, rather hear from bona fide spiritual master, and it will act miraculously, just as medicine is injected. Vimal Prabhu, verse number 6, purport, paragraph number 1.
Prabhuji, I started late. Can you please let me know what chapter?
Chapter 4, Canto 2, Chapter 4, text number 6, purport, paragraph number 1.
Canto 2, chapter 4, verse 6. Paragraph number 2, Prabhuji.
Paragraph number 1.
Starts with there are many personalities.
No, in every inquisitive mind, the important question of creation.
In every inquisitive mind, the important question of the creation of the phenomenal world arises. And therefore, for a personality like Maharaja Pariksit, who was to know all the activities of Lord from his spiritual master, such as inquiry is not uncommon. For every unknown things, we have to learn the inquiry from a learned personality. The question of creation is also one of such inquiries to be made to the right person, the spiritual master. Therefore, must be one who is serve Jina, as stated herein before, in connection with the Sukadeva Goswami. Thus, all inquiries on God which are unknown to the disciple may be made from the qualified spiritual master. And here the practical example is set by Maharaja Pariksit. It was, however, already known to Maharaja Pariksit that everything we see is born out of the energy of the Lord, as we have all learned in the very beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, Jamde, Jamdeyash Yatha. So Maharaja Pariksit wanted to know the process of creation. The origin of creation was known to him. Otherwise, he would not have inquired how the personality of Godhead, by his different energies, creates this phenomenal world. The common man also know knows that the creation is made by some creator and is not created automatically. We have no experience in the practical world that a thing is created automatically. Foolish people says that the creative energy is independent and acts automatically as electric energy works. But the intelligence man knows that even the electric energy is generated by an expert engineer in the localized powerhouse, and thus the energy is distributed everywhere under the resident and engineer's supervision. The Lord supervision in the connection with creation is mentioned even in Bhagavad Gita 9.10, and and it is clearly said there are material energy in is a manifestations of one of many such energies of the supreme prayasa saktir vivdhivya suryata. An inexperienced boy may be struck with wonder by seeing the impersonal actions of electronics, or may other wonderful things conducted by electric energy. But an experienced man knows that behind the action is a living man who creates such energy. Similarly, the so-called scholars and philosophers of the world may by mental speculations present so many autopanes theories about the impersonal creations of the universe, but an intelligent devotee of the Lord, by studying the Bhagavad Gita, can know that behind the creation is the hand of the Supreme Lord. Just as in the generating electrical powerhouse, there is the resident engineers. The search scholars find out the cause of the effect of everything. But researcher scholars as great as Brahma, Shiva, Indra, and many others demigods are sometimes bewildered by seeing the wonderful creative energy of the Lord. So, what to speak of the tiny mundane scholar dealing with pretty things, as they are different difference in the living conditions of different planets of the universe, and as one planet is superior to others, the brain of the living entities in those respective planets are also a different categorical values. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, one can compare the long duration of life of the inhabitant of Brahma planets, which is inconceivable to the inhabitant of this planet Earth, to the categorical value of the brain of Brahmaji, also inconceivable to any great scientist of the planet, and which such high brain power even Brahmaji has described in his great Samhita, Brahma Samhita 5.1 as follow. Ishvara Paramah Krishna Satchidanand Vigra Andhir Adhir Govinda Sarva Karna Karunam. There are many personalities possessing the quality of Bhagavan, but Krishna is the supreme because none can excel him. He is the supreme person, and his body is eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. He is the Parimal Lord Govinda and the cause of all causes. Brahma.
So we read that Pariksit Maharaj already knows about creation. Otherwise, Pariksit Maharaj would have not said the way he said it, that how does the Lord create, maintain, and annihilate? Because he already knows about it. Even Brahma, Shiva, Indra are bewildered by creative energy of the Lord. So mundane people do not know, and therefore Pariksit Maharaj is asking for the benefit of all. Questions, comments, realizations?
Krishna.
Krishna.
So here, so are there demigod doing research on Supreme Personality of God at creation, like we do?
So not all demigods. Majority of the demigods are simply focused on enjoying. But there are few pure devotees as demigods, such as Brahmaji or such as Yamraj. Yeah, they are focused on serving and understanding the Lord, but not all other demigods. Rest of the demigods are simply focused on enjoying. They are all Sakam devotees. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Matan Prabhu will read.
Prabhu,
Yeah, Nitya,
sorry,
go ahead.
Prabhu.
Nitya, go ahead.
In the Brahma Samhita 5.1, what does Anadir Adir Govinda mean, Prabhu?
I will bring up Brahma Samhita online and we can read the translation directly. I'll bring up on screen. So we have Brahma Samhita, the very first verse. It's a very beautiful verse to remember. It's also a key memorization verse. So it says, Anadi means without beginning. And Adi means he is the origin. Means Krishna is without beginning. Krishna is the origin. And Krishna is the cause of all causes. It's a very beautiful verse to recite also. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. Nitya.
Thank you, Prabhu. I've heard this verse in lectures many times. Thank you so much.
Right. Very good hearing with rapt attention. Therefore, you got the right inquiry. All right. Matan Prabhu will read purport paragraph number 6, third paragraph, which starts, Maharaj Pariksit did not ask.
Hare Krishna. Maharaj Pariksit did not ask his spiritual master Sukadeva Goswami to narrate Lord Krishna's pastime in Vrindavan. He wanted to hear about the creation of the Lord. Sukadeva Goswami did not say that the king should hear about the direct transcendental pastimes of the Lord. The time was very short, and naturally Sukadeva Goswami could have gone directly to the 10th canto to make a shortcut of the whole thing, as generally done by the professional reciters. But neither the king nor the great speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam jumped up like the organizers of Bhagavatam. Both of them proceeded systematically so that both future readers and hearers might take lessons from the example of the procedure of reciting Srimad Bhagavatam. Those who are under the control of the external energy of the Lord, or in other words, those who are in the material world, must first of all know how the external energy of the Lord is working under the direction of the Supreme Personality, and afterwards one may try to enter into the activities of his internal energy. The mundaners are mostly worshippers of Durga Devi, the external energy of Krishna, but they do not know that Durga Devi is but the shadow energy of the Lord. Behind her astonishing display of material working is the direction of the Lord as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 9:10. The Brahma Samhita affirms that Durga Shakti is working by the direction of Govinda, and without his sanctions, the powerful Durga Shakti cannot move even a blade of grass. Therefore, the neophyte devotee, instead of jumping at once to the platform of transcendental pastimes presented by the internal energy of the Lord, may know how great the Supreme Lord is by inquiring about the process of his creative energy. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita also, descriptions of the creative energy and the Lord's hands in it are explained. And the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita has warned the neophyte devotees to be seriously on guard against the pitfall of neglecting knowledge about Krishna in regard to how great he is. Only when one knows the Lord Krishna's greatness can one firmly put one's unflinching faith in him. Otherwise, like the common man, even the great leaders of men will mistake Lord Krishna for one of the many demigods or historical personality or myth only. The transcendental pastimes of the Lord Vrindavan or even at Dwaraka are relishable for persons who have already qualified themselves in advanced spiritual techniques, and the common man may be able to attain to such a plane by the gradual process of service and inquiries, as we shall see in the behavior of Maharaja Pariksit. Hare Krishna.
So, Parikshit Maharaj did not ask Sukadeva Goswami to narrate the Vrindavan pastimes of the Lord, which are described in Bhagavatam Canto 10. Rather, Parikshit Maharaj first wanted to hear about creation. And similarly, Sukadeva Goswami, a spiritual master, also did not say to Parikshit Maharaj that Parikshit Maharaj, you should hear the transcendental Vrindavan pastimes of the Lord. No, both are devotees, both are setting examples for us. One must first of all know how the external energy of the Lord is working under the direction of the Supreme Lord. And then one may enter into activities of his internal energy. Therefore, do not neglect this knowledge of Krishna. Questions, comments, realizations, everybody crystal clear?
Yes,
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Is Durga Devi here is Krishna's own sister, and she is also the wife of Lord Shiva.
Correct. Durga Devi is correct, what you described.
Okay. Okay, yeah, thank you. Sometimes I see Lord Shiva has so many different wives, so I'm trying to figure out how this is happening.
So they are in different, like there are reasons for it. For example, Sati quit her body and then again came as Parvati, still wife of Shiva. Durga is also same. Sati, Parvati, Durga, they are all same as the wife of Shiva.
Okay, thank you.
The important point to understand what we read is that Durga is shadow energy of the Lord. So those of you, or not you all, but those who worship Durga Devi. So generally there is this Navratri festival where people worship Durga. Are Baba, you are worshipping shadow energy. Why are you worshipping shadow? Worship the Lord. All right. Abhishek Prabhu, you are able to read now?
Yes, Prabhuji.
All right. Verse 8, translation and purport, last paragraph, which starts Pariksit Paraj's statement.
2.4.8 translation. O learned Brahmana, the transcendental activities of the Lord are all wonderful, and they appear inconceivable because even great endeavors by many learned scholars have still proved insufficient for understanding them. The last paragraph, Puri?
Correct. Maharaj Parikshit's statement.
Maharaj Parikshit's statement regarding the workings of the creative energy of the Lord discloses that he knew everything of the process of creation. Why did he ask Sukdev Goswami for such information? Maharaj Parikshit, being a great emperor, a descendant of the Pandavas, and the great devotee of the Lord Krishna, was quite able to know considerably about the creation of the world. But that much knowledge was not sufficient. He said, therefore, that even greatly learned scholars fail to know about that, even after great effort. The Lord is unlimited and his activities are also unfathomed. With a limited source of knowledge and with imperfect senses, any living being, up to the standard of Brahmaji, the highest perfect living being within the universe, can never imagine knowing about the unlimited. We can know something of the unlimited when it is explained by the unlimited, as has been done by the Lord Himself in the unique statements of Bhagavad Gita. And it can also be known to some extent from realized souls like Sukdev Goswami, who learned it from Vyasadeva, a disciple of Narada. And thus, the perfect knowledge can descend by chain of disciplic succession only, and not by any form of experimental knowledge, old or modern.
Towards the end of the purport, Prabhupada makes a very important statement. We can know something of the unlimited when it is explained by the unlimited, as has been done by Lord Himself in the unique statements of Bhagavad Gita. And it can also be known to some extent from realized souls like Sukdev Goswami, who learned it from Vyasadeva. So sometimes people may say, well, Krishna is speaking Bhagavad Gita about himself. Well, then he will glorify himself. You point to this statement that Krishna is unlimited. It's not possible to know unless the unlimited himself tells us about him. It's a very important point Prabhupada makes. So we also read that Parikshit Maharaj already knew about creation, but learned scholars fail to understand about creation. Even Brahmaji, the most intelligent and the topmost living entity in the universe, he also fails to understand. Therefore, for the benefit of all, including learned scholars, Parikshit Maharaj is inquiring about creation. Questions, comments, realizations? All right, Divya will read chapter 4, verses 9 and 10. Translations are straightforward.
Hare Krishna. Text 9 translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is one, whether he alone acts with the modes of material nature or simultaneously expands in many forms or expands consecutively to the direct modes of nature. Text 10. Kindly clear up all these doubtful inquiries, because you are not only vastly learned in the Vedic literatures and self-realized in transcendence, but are also a great devotee of the Lord and are therefore as good as the personality of Godhead.
So up to here, Pariksit Maharaj has made his inquiries about creation. And from verse number 11 till end of the chapter, before responding to Pariksit Maharaj's inquiry, Sukadeva Goswami will first recite Mangalacharan prayers. So from verse number 11 onwards, are actual Mangalacharan prayers chanted by Sukadeva Goswami. This is very important point to learn from Sukadeva Goswami, that the speaker of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, whosoever it may be, they are not speaking by themselves. Only Krishna can speak Bhagavatam. Yes, the voice may be coming out from the speaker's voice, but it is actually Krishna speaking. And how is the speaker able to speak? Is because of these Mangalacharan prayers, that the speaker is submitting to his spiritual master, to the disciplic succession, to all acharyas in Parampara and to Shri Shri Radha Krishna, that engage me in your service. And that's how the speaker is able to speak. So we all also always start our classes with chanting brief Mangalacharan prayers. So these are very important prayers. So don't skip. Some of you have the this constant nag that I will join after the Mangalacharan prayers. No, these are very important. Even to comprehend what we are hearing, we need to recite the Mangalacharan prayers. My Siksha Guru in the Bhagavatam class, just at the last class, he asked for a recording for a few classes back. I mean, he's giving class, but he said, can one of you please send me the recording of the one of the previous class that he's giving the class? Because he wants to hear what all came out from his mouth. Because he said, I don't even remember. It was Krishna speaking. So that Siksha Guru of my Bhakti Vaibhav Bhagavatam class is a very, very senior devotee in Mayapur. He's practicing for many decades. This is the humility that we need to develop. Not that I will join 5 minutes after the Mangalacharan prayers are over. Who cares? I will do my WhatsApp and internet and cricket and whatnot. So from verse number 11 onwards till end of chapter is our straightforward Mangalacharan prayers. Archana will read all of them, 3 at a time. Archana, 11 to 13 translation.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Text 11. Sutta Goswami said, when Sukadev Goswami was thus requested by the king to describe the creative energy of the personality of a Godhead, he then simultaneously remembered the master of the song.
Systematically
remember the master of the senses, Sri Krishna, and to reply properly he spoke thus. Text 12. Sukadev Goswami said, "Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of a Godhead, who for the creation of a material world accept the three mode of nature. He is the complete whole, residing within a body of everyone, and he in his way are inconceivable." Text 13. I again offer my respectful obeisances unto the form of complete existence and the transcendent, who is liberated of the pious devotee from all distress and the destroyer of a further advance in atheistic temperament of the non-devotee demon. For the transcendentalists who are situated in the topmost spiritual perfection, he grant their specific destination. I'll continue, Prabhuji.
Yeah, all the way you can continue to the end.
Text 14. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto him who is associate of a member of a Yadu dynasty and who is always a problem for a non-devotee. He is the supreme enjoyer of both the material and the spiritual world, yet he enjoys his own abode in a spiritual sky. There is no one equal to him because his transcendental opulences is immeasurable. Text 15. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the all-auspicious Lord Sri Krishna, but about whom glorification, remembrance, audience, prayer, hearing, and worship can at once clear the effect of all the sins of the performer. Text 16. Let me offer my respectful obeisances again and again unto the all-auspicious Lord Sri Krishna, the highly intellectual, simple by surrendering onto his lotus feet, are rebel of all the attachment to present and future existence, and without difficulty progress towards a spiritual existence. Take 17. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the all-auspicious Lord Sri Krishna again and again, because the great learned sages, the great performer of charity, the great worker of distinction, the great philosopher and a mystic, the great chanter of the Vedic hymns, and the great follower of Vedic principle cannot achieve any faithful result without dedication of such great qualities to the service of the Lord. Hare Krishna. Till 17, Prabhu, right?
Till 25, end of chapter.
Sorry, sir. Text 18. Kerata huna andhra pulinda palkasta abhira subha yavana, member of a kasa races and even other addicted to sinful act can be purified by taking a shelter of a devotee of a Lord. Due to his being the supreme power, I beg to offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Text 19. He is the super soul and the supreme lord of all self-realized soul. He is a personification of the Vedas, religion, scriptures, and austerity. He is a worshipper by the Lord Brahma and a Shiva, and all those who are transcendental to all presentation. Being so revered with awe and veneration, may that supreme absolute be pleased with me. Text 20. May Lord Sri Krishna, who is a worshipable Lord of all devotee, the protector and the glories of all the kings like an Adhaka and a Vrishni of a Yadu dynasty, the husband of all goddess of fortune, the director of all the sacrifice and therefore the leader of all living entity, the controller of all the intelligence, the proprietor of all planets, spiritual and material, and the supreme incarnation on the earth, the supreme all in all, be merciful upon me. Text 21. It is the personality of a Godhead, Sri Krishna, who gave liberation by thinking of his lotus feet at every second. Following in the footsteps of austerity, the devotees in the trance can see the absolute truth. The learned mental speculator, however, think of him according to their whims. May the Lord be pleased with me. Text 22. May the Lord, who is in the beginning of the creation, amplified the potent knowledge of the Brahma from within his heart and inspired him with full knowledge of creation and his own self, and who appeared to be a generated from the mouth of a Brahma, be pleased with me. Text 23. May the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who enlivened the materially created bodies of the element by laying down within the universe, and who is his Purusha incarnation, cause the living being to be subjected to the 16 division of a material mode, which are his generator, be pleased to decorate my statement. 24. I offer my respectful obeisance unto Srila Vyasadeva, the incarnation of Vasudeva, who compiled the Vedic scriptures. The pure devotees drink up the nectarium, transcendental knowledge dropping from the lotus-like mouth of the Lord. 25. My dear king, Brahma, the firstborn, on being questioned by Narada, exactly appraised him on this subject, as it has been directly spoken by the Lord to his own son, who was impregnated with the Vedic knowledge from his very birth. Thus end the Bhakti Vedanta purport of the second canto, 4th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, titled The Process of Creation. Hare Krishna.
Very good. Questions, comments, realizations?
Hare Krishna. So, through his Mangalacharan prayers, Sukadev Goswami indirectly has given the answer to Pariksit Maharaj about creation?
Not yet. He's just praying first so that in subsequent chapters he will speak the creation. This creation discussion will continue in rest of Canto 2 chapters as well as some beginning portion of Canto 3 as well.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. For Mangalacharan, we have certain set of prayers, but sometimes when classes are not so long, for short discussions, can they also be shorter Mangalacharan?
Yeah, you can just recite the very first one. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. You are just asking permission and blessings from your spiritual master, whether or not you have a living spiritual master. If you don't have a living spiritual master, you are asking these prayers from Srila Prabhupada, who's Jagat Guru for all of us, whether or not you have living spiritual master. Just that one prayer is good enough.
Thank you.
Very good. Spiritual endeavor questions. Number 1. How Pariksit Maharaj was able to give up all family attachments and regulated activities of religion, economic development, and sense gratification. Comes from verses 2 to 4.
Prabhuji, can you repeat, please?
Yeah. Question number 1 is, how Pariksit Maharaj was able to give up all family attachments and regulated activities of religion, economic development, and sense gratification. Comes from 2 to 4 verses. Number 2, why is Pariksit Maharaj inquiring about creation, which is already known to Pariksit Maharaj, instead of inquiring about Krishna's pastimes described in Canto 10? Comes from verses 5 to 8. For next class, I request all of you to please read Canto 2, entire chapter 5. So at our next class, we'll finish this chapter 5 as well as this unit number 6. Then on following Sunday, which will be December 21st, we will do a revision of this unit number 6, where you all devotees will do the presentation. So you already have the link to this Google document where I have populated slots for unit 6 presentation. So please populate your name. Now there are 9 slots, and so we are slightly more, 1 or 2 more devotees. So some of you can still do the same presentation. Multiple devotees can do it, so that everybody can do the presentation. So populate your name as soon as is possible for you all. And we will finish chapter 5 and unit 6 at our next class. And then December 21st is presentation. Questions, comments, realizations? All right.
Prabhuji, I was not part of the previous presentations, but I will request you to add me in.
All right. If you are not already there, I will add you there. You can check your links from before. I will now answer inquiries submitted by devotees. Question number 1. Srimad Bhagavatam 2.3.17 purport. The inquiry from there is a moment spent in association with a pure devotee, hearing and chanting the transcendental messages of the Lord, a perfect guarantee of eternal life? So, Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 22.54 is the direct answer for this question number 1. I will bring up on screen Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 22.54. It's a very beautiful verse, very well-known verse. Pragya was here, she could have recited. It's also there in Bengali. Archana can recite Bengali and then read the translation as well as the purport.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastre Kaya, Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi Haye.
Right? Sadhu Sange, Sarva Shastra Kaye. Lava Matra. Lava Matra is very important. Lavamatra sadhu sange sarva siddhi hoy. Translation and purport.
The Vedic of all revealed scriptures is that by even a moment association with a pure devotee, one can attain all success. Purport. According to the astronomical calculation of lava is the 1/11th of second.
Does that answer the inquiry?
Yes, Prabhu. And it's a very powerful impetus because it only takes 1/11th of a second, and it's totally the mercy of Lord Krishna and the spiritual master that we
Very
are
good.
even there. Thank you.
Yeah, very good. Correct. Question number 2. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 3, we are learning how we should approach the Lord for material benediction instead of demigods. Then why Arjuna has to go to Agnidev and other demigods for benediction when he can directly ask from the Lord? So Srimad Bhagavatam 4.12.9 is the direct answer to this question, as well as the question is also there in this 4.12.9 verse. So I will bring up on screen and Shivangi can read. Actually, let Chandan Prabhu read. Chandan Prabhu will read, and I will set the context for this first. That Dhruv Maharaj is a pure devotee, and Kuvera is not a pure devotee, rather Kuvera is a demigod. And on the path of spirituality, Dhruv Maharaj is higher than Kuvera. Still, Swayambhuva Manu, the great-grandfather of Dhruv Maharaj, advised Dhruv Maharaj to get benediction from Kuvera because Dhruv Maharaj had a fight with demons. Kuvera is treasurer of demons. So any leftover ill feelings in Kuvera would be harmful for Krishna consciousness of Dhruv Maharaj and Dhruv Maharaj's family. And therefore, towards the end of the purport, we'll read that a Vaishnava can get benediction from demigod as long as it is beneficial for my Krishna consciousness. Chandan Prabhu, read translation purport. Shivangi can go ahead.
As son of Idavida, Lord Kuvera was very pleased, and happily he gave Dhruva Maharaja the benediction he wanted. Thereafter, he disappeared from Dhruva's presence, and Dhruva Maharaja returned to his capital city, Purport. Kuvera, who is known as the son of Idavida, was very pleased with Dhruva Maharaja because he did not ask him for anything materially enjoyable. Kuvera is one of the demigods, so one may put forward the argument, why did Dhruva Maharaja take a benediction from a demigod? The answer is that for a Vaishnava, there is no objection to taking a benediction from a demigod if it is favorable for advancing Krishna consciousness. The gopis, for example, worshipped Katyayani, a demigoddess, but the only benediction they wanted from the goddess was to have Krishna as their husband. A Vaishnava is not interested in asking any benediction from the demigods, nor is he interested in asking benedictions from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is said in the Bhagavatam that liberation can be offered by the Supreme Person, but even if a pure devotee is offered liberation by the Supreme Lord, he refuses to accept it. Dhruva Maharaja did not ask Kuvera for transference to the spiritual world, which is called liberation. He simply asked that wherever he would remain, whether in the spiritual or material world, he would always remember the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A Vaishnava is always respectful to everyone. So when Kuvera offered him a benediction, he did not refuse it, but he wanted something which would be favorable to his advancement in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.
Very good. So Arjuna also asked benediction, not that he wanted to enjoy all those benedictions, rather he wanted all those divya astra from demigods so that he can use those in Krishna's service. Therefore, we read and in the purport Prabhupada says, for Krishna consciousness, a pure devotee can also get benedictions from demigods. Does that answer the inquiry?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Question number 3. First, Matan Prabhu is going to answer, and for the same question, Nitya is also going to answer. Matan.
Hare Krishna. Okay, as per Bhagavad Gita
So
14.
first read the question also.
Okay, what is the easy process of liberation? Okay, as per Bhagavad Gita 14.26, the easiest process and most effective process of liberation is Bhakti Yoga, the direct path of devotional service to Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. By engaging in hearing, chanting, remembering, and worshipping Krishna, the heart becomes purified, and liberation naturally follows without separate effort. Okay, I will recite Srimad Bhagavatam verse 3.29 13. Salokya sasti samipya sarupya ehatvam abhi uda Tiyamanam na hirnandi vinamat servanam jana. A pure devotee does not accept any kind of liberation. Salokya, Sasti, Samipya, Sarupya, Ergatva, even though they are offered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, the devotee is not interested in any of the 5 kinds of liberation. A devotee is simply focused on engaging in services because Srimad Bhagavatam says whether you are having darshan of the Lord or engage in the service is identical. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, very good. Nitya.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, what is the easy process of liberation? Bhakti Yoga is the easy process of liberation. Srimad Bhagavatam 2.3.10 Akama Sarva Kamava Moksha Kama Udarati Tirvena Bhakti Yogena Yajate Purusham Param. Everyone, whether an akama without material desires, sakama full of material desires, or moksha kama desiring liberation, must worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhakti Yoga is specially stressed here as the means of all perfection. In Bhagavad Gita 8.14, Lord Krishna says, for anyone who is unflinchingly devoted to him, he is easy to attain. And in this text, there is the word sulabha, which is, which says that he is easy to attain by the process of Bhakti Yoga. In Bhagavad Gita 12.6 and 7, Lord Krishna says, for those who worship him without deviation, always engaged in his devotional service and meditating upon him, he is the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. And in Bhagavad Gita 18.66, Lord Krishna tells Arjuna, abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. He will deliver one from all sinful reactions. Srimad Bhagavatam 3.2913. Salokya Sarsi Samipya Sarupya Ekatvam Api Yutha Viyamanam Na Grihanti Vinamat Sevanam Chanam. A pure devotee does not accept any of the 5 kinds of liberation, even though they are offered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A devotee is simply focused in engaging in devotional service because, as stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, whether you're having the darshan of the Lord or engaged in devotional services, it is identical.
Everybody, your feedback on how Matan and Nitya Prabhu's answered the inquiries?
They gave references to verses.
Okay, very good. What else? Everybody? Abhishek.
Like I like that as Mataji mentioned, they referred verses, they also recited the verses, and the answers were more focused from, it's good that they are focused from scriptures.
Okay, very good. Does that answer the question?
I have, like, when I was when I was looking at this question, easy process of liberation, it's just maybe my thought that the question specifically, the wordings are easy process of liberation, and the answers, um, there was little more focus on how Krishna is easy to achieve, and it just didn't click to me that if they are the same thing or not. In some sense they are, but somehow I just could not relate very directly.
Yeah, so they are the same thing, and more important was 3.29.13 was that devotee is not interested in liberation. Right, so that's what both Matan and Nitya Prabhu's answered, that yeah, Bhagavad Gita verses are there. 18.66, for example, Nitya referenced that the word moksha is there, or even if 12.6 and 7, Krishna says, I am the swift deliverer. Well, that all is liberation from material entanglement. But more important from all of that was that devotee is not interested in liberation. Devotee is only focused on service. Abhishek Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu, thank you. So, thank you, Prabhu. Yes, this was this point is clear. Thank you.
Rest of you, how did Matan and Nitya Prabhu's answer? Matan and Nitya, you want to share what went on while finding the answer to this?
Yes, Prabhu. It's just, once I see the questions and I'm thinking about, where I would look for the answer, or in this case, the answer came up right away, but then I wanted to answer it with scriptural references. So it was, we know that Bhakti Yoga is the process, and so you just have to think about, I was thinking where I would find the answers, and of course started with Srimad Bhagavatam, the 2.3.10, and then Bhagavad Gita. So I at least spent, I would say, I keep thinking about, oh, I would write about this. I have to think about it. Sometimes even in japa, I thought about it. It just came up, and then I said I would bring my thoughts back to the meditation. So it really helps because I'm thinking about it, and then I'm reading the scriptures. I'm trying to find the answer, and then I connect with you. And of course, you gave me the reference to 3.29.13 Srimad Bhagavatam. So it really helps because it's more of thinking about it.
Very good. So Nitya was thinking about the question while she was doing japa. Rest of you, when you do japa, what are you thinking? Are you doing your to-do list? Rest of you? Silence. I got silence. What do you do when you do your japa? Where's your mind running? Silence probably speaks for itself.
Yeah, I like to think about the pastimes of the Lord.
Okay. Matan Prabhu is the only elevated one.
And when I was looking at this question, I was thinking in terms of three main yoga system, whether it would be Bhakti, Karma Yoga or Jnana Yoga. So I thought about it in Bhakti Yoga, we do it for the satisfaction of Krishna. We want to satisfy, we don't want anything. So liberation is only byproduct. But
So
anyway,
the point about Matan Prabhu is that he was thinking about Krishna from the inquiries without even really stressing too much about it, right? So that's the benefit. Both Matan and Nitya Prabhu said the same thing, that they were thinking about Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam from this inquiry. This is how the inquiry of a devotee becomes the mercy on the devotee answering. And this will come up in next chapter very soon. We'll cover this. Already we have read that verse, but we'll discuss again. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Matan and Nitya Prabhu.
Pariksit.
Question number 4. What is there when we go back to Godhead? How will one feel? Is this mentioned anywhere in any scriptures? So Srimad Bhagavatam 3.30.7 is the direct answer to question number 4. Gauri, read the translation and purport. Vimal Prabhu, you can read translation and purport.
Oh, sorry, I was muted.
Huh? Go ahead, Gauri Mata. Go ahead.
Although he is always burning with anxiety, such a fool always performs all kinds of mischievous activities with a hope which is never to be fulfilled in order to maintain his so-called family and society. Purport: it is said that it is easier to maintain a great empire than to maintain a small family, especially in these days when the influence of Kali Yuga is so strong that everyone is harassed and full of anxieties because of accepting the false presentation of Maya's family. The family we maintain is created by Maya. It is the perverted reflection of the family in Krishna Loka. In Krishna Loka, there is also family, friends, society, father and mother. Everything is there, but they are eternal. Here, as we change bodies, our family relations also change. Sometimes we are in a family of human beings, sometimes in a family of demigods, sometimes a family of cats, or sometimes a family of dogs. Family, society, and friendship are flickering, and so they are called asat. It is said that as long as we are attached to this asat, temporary, non existing society and family, we are always full of anxieties. The materialists do not know that the family, society, and friendship here in this material world are only shadows, and thus they become attached. Naturally, their hearts are always burning, but in spite of all inconvenience, they still work to maintain such false families because they have no information of the real family association with Krishna.
Right. So in the spiritual world also, there are families, and everyone is simply engaged in serving Krishna. Prabhupada has explained many times that living entities in the spiritual world are significantly more good-looking, beautiful than any living entity in the material world. Still, the husband and wife are not attracted in the mundane, lusty way because they are so occupied in the higher engagement of glorifying and serving Krishna. Yes, so there are families in the spiritual world also, but they are all together glorifying and serving Krishna 24 hours. Does that answer the inquiry?
Prabhu, can I ask a couple of follow-up questions?
Yeah.
So, in the material world, it's a perverted, the relationships are a perverted reflection of what's in the spiritual world. So understanding is that, yeah, we're focused on more the desire and things here, not the devotion to Lord. But is there any connection of how we come together, the family, the way Maya puts us together? So, in other faiths, they believe that you're going to be reunited, at the end of life. They believe you will be reunited to your family. So is there any thing in our Shastras about that? And two is that, in a family, you have devotees and then you have non-devotees and then you have other atheists also. So is there something to how all this comes together and then how it all, what it will lead to?
Yeah, so we have discussed in our karma discussion in Bhagavad Gita 4.16, 17, 18 that we have group karma and we have our individual karma. And when a soul leaves the body, the soul goes through a multi-dimensional chart which determines the soul's next life, in which body, in which universe, in which country, in which city, which family, which colleagues. From those multi-dimensional chart, we only know very few of the dimensions. Krishna has already said that it is not possible for anyone of you to understand how karma works because our brains are not built this way. So it is group karma that determines our family, colleagues, and all surroundings. In terms of somebody saying that we get reunited with our family, it doesn't say anywhere in our scriptures. It may happen, but there is no such thing that it will happen for sure. And the analogy described here is, to understand this point, is that say if you are standing at a river bank, you will see tiny branches from trees, they fall in the river. Those branches come together, then they separate, and those branches then come together with other branches. This way, we all in this life are connected with our respective friends and families, colleagues, etc. At the end of this life, we'll leave all of them and we'll next life most likely be tagged with somebody else. Nowhere in the scriptures it says that you are bound to take birth again in the same family. It doesn't say. It all depends on the group karma that determines your next life. Group karma is one of the multi-dimensional factors.
Thank you, Prabhu. That's a difficult question. Thank you for answering. So when we go, if for the one who gets the liberation and goes to receives the spiritual body and goes back to the spiritual world, then again their association with the family there would also depend on the many factors, right? So who they will be coming together, but it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Thank you. Doesn't matter.
Right. You are correct. It doesn't matter. You are in the spiritual world. It doesn't matter. All right. Last question for today. Will reading Srimad Bhagavatam help one make gradual progress in deity worship? So Nectar of Devotion, chapter 13, describes the 5 most potent forms of devotional service from the 64 items of devotional service. The 5 most potent forms of devotional service are deity worship, reading Srimad Bhagavatam, chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, devotee association, and living in Mathura. Bhagavad Gita 2.59 also states, Param Drishtva Nivartate, that one develops the higher taste of spirituality. So Srimad Bhagavatam study in devotee association helps develop the spiritual taste so that we gradually come to taking up more and more of the 64 items of devotional service. So if you all recall our Nectar of Devotion discussion, I had asked to divide the 64 items of devotional service into 3 columns. One is items I am doing right now or are easy to do right now. Second column is items I should start in near future. And third column is items that I need to work upon so as to be able to do in a longer term. So deity worship should be under the first column that you are doing now or you can start right now, or at least it should be in second column that you should start doing as soon as is possible. Plus this also depends on the rasa, that if your rasa is preaching, then focus more on preaching and do little bit of deity worship, say offer bhoga every day in a simple manner. And little by little, you will grow from there. Does that answer the inquiry?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you.
Abhishek, Prabhu, you have any inquiry?
It's true, like at this point which you made that we may have attraction for some service. So, like if we don't have attraction for any other service, then like like I felt that some of the services I find very, very difficult. Like I don't want to say that I don't like it, but it's kind of that I find it very difficult. So how should I see those services?
Yeah, you do services that you are comfortable with. In extreme circumstances, you may do services that you are not comfortable with. But otherwise, do the services that you are comfortable with. So spirituality is not meant to make you uncomfortable. You should do your natural services. All services are equal, but you have a particular rasa. You have a particular ability. So focus on the services that you feel comfortable with.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
All right, last point is tracking points by you all devotees. Thank you all for doing very good job. You have 5 slides. This is slide number 1. Take a snapshot. Slide 2. Three. 4. And 5. So all of you now get in your email your responses. So you can do comparison. Although in this batch I did very minor fixes, but you can always do comparison to see if anything you need to fix.
Can I see the slide number 2? I missed it.
So here is slide 1, slide 2, three, 4, and 5. I will submit Google form for you to complete your spiritual endeavor. Also populate your names on the Google Excel document for your presentation slots, and we will go from there. Next class, we will finish this unit, and on 21st December, we will do the presentation where you all will do your respective presentations for this unit. Hare Krishna will stop here.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, and Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.